At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
What if I told you you are more than your physical or mental disabilities, and were in fact greatly loved by Christ? That this disability wasn't a curse, but ultimately your greatest blessing. For the person that struggles with depression and anxiety, maybe that depression and anxiety was given as a great grace from God to you to drive you and need Him in prayer. What if it was meant for you to realize your own futility, your own fallenness, your own brokenness and sinfulness as a human? What if those epileptic seizures were meant to make you understand that this world is broken and that your body may also be broken, but it allows you to put your hope in Christ and understand that we will be given a body imperishable in the future, a body free from corruption, free from sickness in the new heavens and the new earth? What if I told you that that wheelchair that you were stuck in because you got paralyzed when you were younger, or something bad happened? What if instead of that paralysis being a curse that you can't walk anymore, what if that allowed you to grow closer to your family because somebody had to wheel you around and help you? Maybe that was meant to show you the value of family, not just physical family, but in a way, spiritual family. A bond that runs deeper than blood is in all of us that are Christians. A bond that binds us to Christ. Our sufferings become His sufferings. Our brokenness, our struggles, our pain, our sufferings, our persecutions, all of our afflictions, Christ identifies with. And what if, because you suffered in this way, that Christ was all the more empathetic towards your cause? What if in that weakness, Christ was allowing His power to be greatly displayed through you? That issue that you thought made you weak or unlovable made you all the more loved by Christ and all the more closer to His grace and His compassion and His mercy than you ever thought you could know. What if all of these pains and sorrows would one day be taken away? As C.S. Lewis once said in one of his famous books, one day every sad thing will become untrue. I'm sorry I stuttered there, but that is the Christian message. If you are a believer in Christ, that suffering sickness, that suffering sorrow, the lost family member, the lost loved one, the lost wife, the lost child, what if all of that would one day become untrue? And that is the promise of the Bible. Your sickness, your ailment, your physical or mental disability, if you're mentally disabled with schizophrenia, no worries, because God is greater than your mind. Christ didn't come to save your mind. He came to redeem your heart. As 1 John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him shall not die but have everlasting life." I think we need, as Christians, not only to stop identifying with our disabilities, and all the more identify with Christ's ability to help us in that. Because in Corinthians, it goes in with Paul in his infirmities, talking about in His weakness, the power of God is displayed. There's also a thing in Corinthians, which I really love, that is very pertinent to this situation, that God says in the scriptures that He uses the weak things to shame the mighty, and He uses the foolish things of this world to shame the wise. Though you may be mentally deficient or you may be physically weak, through that weakness and that infirmity, Christ will use you in greater ways than you ever thought possible. because he will help you overcome the things that this world values and replace it with things that he values. God is not looking for some perfect vessel. If that was the case, nobody besides Christ would ever have been saved. But Christ is looking for imperfect vessels, so that way, in your weakness, in your infirmities, he can shame the mighty things of this world, shame the wise things of this world, and make himself be glorified and known in all the earth. I really hope this encouraged you that in your sickness and in your ailments, Christ is there with you. He identifies with you. He suffers as you suffer because you are his. May God bless you, and may you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'd really appreciate it if you checked out our clothing line at wisdomwear.net. If not, that's okay. I thank you for watching to the end, and please like and follow if you want to join us next week for more.